Hello, Nadine Dorries is back in the news. You go a day or two without Nadine Dorries and you wonder what's missing. Today, there's a story, in fact it's been sent to me, a Twitter feed, which apparently is by Nadine Dorries. It isn't actually, it's a fake. And she's making complaints about people who are worrying about food banks, and with good reason do people worry about food banks. There is, however, another thing that Nadine Dorries has done today. She's written an article where she's complaining about lefty luvvie lynch mobs who want her to fail, who have a vendetta against her. I don't regard myself as a lefty luvvie. I don't really think I have a vendetta against Nadine Dorries. I simply think she can't do her job. She doesn't open envelopes. She doesn't answer letters. I think that's a fundamental part of the ministerial job, and she can't do it. I also think she doesn't know how to master her brief. She doesn't read her briefing notes before she goes into meetings. Otherwise, she wouldn't have got into such a mess on various occasions, either in front of television cameras or in a Commons committee room, not knowing how Channel 4 is funded. Channel 4 is a public company. Its headquarters are in London, but it operates under a government charter. It's terribly clear. It gets its money from advertising revenue and from selling its programmes. Almost all its programmes are made by outside production companies. And it has control, it has final say over what those programmes look like. It gets involved in that final programme making. I know, I was on Channel 4, and I salute the way that Channel 4 works. The real problem with Nadine Dorries, for a moment I forgot who I was talking about. That would be such a joy, wouldn't it? The real problem with Nadine Dorries is she just looks uncertain, and she doesn't give the sort of leadership that we have been crying out for in the arts for years. I think the time has come for the DCMS to be split away, to be split up into different factions, so that there is a minister who can deal with sport, there is a minister who can deal with the arts. These two things don't automatically go together as a job lot of things that nobody takes seriously. The arts is a serious issue, and so I think is sport. And Boris is the person who should recognise both of these things. And it's quite true, as Dorries said, that Mrs. Thatcher had ideally wanted to privatise Channel 4 or to set up a privatised company in 1982. And in her biography, in her memoir, she complains that that wasn't done. But I think the point is that when we look at what Channel 4 has achieved, under the constraints that the government set it up under, it has to do four things. It has to be innovative, it has to be diverse, it has to educate, and it has to have a distinctive identity. And in my mind, it has all of those, and it would lose those if it became a direct competitor for, as Dorries says, Amazon or Netflix, which it isn't. And this is really the issue. Under the constraints that the state set it up, it has created its own market, it's done its own thing, and it's done it rather brilliantly. And if there are people like Dorothy O'Brien who say things that Miss Dorries doesn't agree with, well, great. I mean, I myself have compared Boris with Putin in the past. I was entertained by the fact that Boris was doing this talk to camera where he answered questions that had been sent to him. That is exactly what Putin does. I think Dorothy O'Brien made a comparison between one liar and another. I don't know whether that's fair. But I do think it's reasonable for us to hold ministers to account. And if Nadine Dorries thinks that this means we are happy sneering accusations and suggesting that she is not smart enough to do her job, well, I'm afraid the blunt reality is she's not giving a very good demonstration of somebody who is smart enough to do her job. I would love to see Nadine Dorries pulling her finger out and actually getting on with it and doing the work that is necessary in order to in order to make her ministry function properly. At the moment, it is not functioning, and it is her fault.